question.
Good afternoon, class. We are going to cover 3.6, polynomial and rational inequalities. What we do need to know is when we have a greater than symbol, it will be using parentheses. Normally the parentheses will be facing outwards. When we have a less than, the parentheses will be facing inwards. When we have a greater than or equal to, we will be using brackets, not parentheses. And when we have a less than or equal to, we will still be using brackets, but they'll be pointing inside. Keep in mind that when we use a number, any number, positive or negative, if we have a less than or a greater than, parenthesis, if we have an equal to, bracket. However, if we have the infinity symbol, negative or positive, it will always be a parenthesis and it will never be a bracket. So, the first part, we are going to solve the polynomial inequality and graph the solution set on a number line. We're given the first example, example A. X plus 3 in parentheses, parenthesis x minus 2, parenthesis, less than or equal to 0. We are using a less than, and based on the notes that we've taken, the less than will be using brackets. So the first thing we need to do is set everything to 0. By setting to 0, we have x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. From here, x equals, if we move the 3 over, a negative 3, correct? If we have x and we move the negative 2 over to the other side, it becomes a positive 2. So now we have x equals negative 3 and x equals plus 2. We need to draw a number line, and by that, all I want you to do is just draw a line. Do not label it, do not put numbers. The majority of us are used to putting 0 in the center. If one of our answers is not 0, do not do so. It will confuse you. Negative 3 is a smaller number, and 2 is larger than negative 3. So the smaller number goes on the left, the larger number goes on the right. That's all we need to do. Do not put a 0 if it's not here. Now we need to get our points. We need a point that goes from negative 3 all the way to negative infinity. So here we're using equal to, so we have to use brackets, but remember we don't use it for infinity. So it's negative infinity, comma, negative 3. The negative infinity is going to have a parenthesis because it will always have a parenthesis. And the negative 3 will have a bracket because of the equal to. Now we need to list our points from negative 3 to 2. So it's bracket negative 3, comma, 2. Bracket. That covers negative 3 to 2. Now we got to cover 2 to infinity. So it's bracket 2, comma, infinity, parenthesis. Any questions? Now we have to run a test.
Right, so if there wasn't like the equal then we would put parentheses for the 3 and the 2 also?
If this was only less than,
yeah,
these would all be parentheses.
Wait. Isn't there like supposed to be like a U?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So we have to run a test. To run a test, we need to pick a number that is between this number and this number, but never the number listed. Do we understand? Try the number you pick, make it as easy as possible. Pick the smallest number, that's a whole number, so that you don't have to complicate things. Here it's a negative 3, so the numbers that I'm going to use, negative 4, because negative 4 is between negative 3 and negative infinity. Now the number between negative 3 and 2, the easiest number to use is 0. And then I'm going to pick a number between 2 and 8. I'm going to choose 4. Negative 4, 0, 4.
2 and 8?
8?
Yeah, when the 8 comes.
I'm sorry, infinity. See? Infinity. It's not an 8, it's infinity. 4. So we're going to run our test. So our test is based off of negative 4, 0, and 4. To test them, we need to plug in these numbers into our x and see if the answer is less than or equal to 0. The first one is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 1 is 6. So if I use a negative 4, my answer is going to be a positive 6. Is positive 6 less than or equal to 0?
No.
No. So put a no. Go to your test of negative 4. Negative 4. These are my numbers. The answer is no. Put an X. Don't scribble it out. Just put a light X so you can see where your steps are. Our next test is 0. Put a 0. Put a 0. That gives us the number 3 and negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Is negative 6 less than or equal to 0?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes, so we put a yes. Yes. Next one is 4. 4 plus 3
7.
is 7. 4 minus 2
2.
is 2. 7 times 2 is
14.
14. Is 14 less than or equal to 0?
No.
No. No. You put an X. Our answer is negative 3 comma 2. We're going to write negative 3 comma 2. Make sure they're both in brackets because it's an equal to. And then box your answer. Please make sure to box your answer in a clear location so I don't have to hunt it down. Any questions so far? Now on your assignment, it'll ask you, please show on a number line, or it may not even give you a number line. But keep in mind, if it's not asking you for a number line, you still have to do the number line in order to solve the equation. So don't think you're getting out of it just because it doesn't ask you for it. B. B is x squared minus 5x plus 4 is greater than 0. So, what do we need to do here? Here we can't group it. We can't set it to 0 because it's already set to 0 and we can't pull the x or this. We can't factor out an x. So the only thing we can do is to set it in a set of 4 where we can start grouping. In order to do grouping, we need to draw a table. We put our 4, negative 5. Our multiples of 4 are 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. To get a negative 5, in order for me to make that work, I need a negative 1 and a negative 4. Negative 1 times negative 4 is a positive 4. Negative 1 plus negative 4 equals negative 5. That is my answer. So I'm going to rewrite it to show x squared minus 1x minus 4x plus 4 is greater than 0. We have 4 sections, correct? We can now group. Put them in groups. And now you can factor out. On the first one, we can factor out an x. That leaves inside x minus 1. For the second set, we know we're going to need an x minus 1. X minus 1. So in order to get an x minus 1 over here, I need to factor out a 4. The 4, is it going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Negative.
Positive?
Positive.
Negative, because a negative 4 times x is negative 4x. A negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. We rewrite it to show x minus 4. X minus 4. And then we combine the x minus 1. X minus 1. Set to 0. X minus 4 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals 4. X equals 1. We're good? Draw your number line. Our smallest number is 1, so our 1 is going to go on the left. Our greatest number is 4, it's going to go on the right. Plot your points to cover each quadrant. Here we have negative infinity. It's a greater than symbol, not equal to, so we don't have to worry about brackets. negative infinity, comma, 1, parenthesis, parenthesis. Cover 1 through 4, it's going to be parenthesis 1 to 4, and then 4 to infinity. Does everybody have their number line? What is the next step once you've already plotted your points?
Pick the numbers.
What do I have to do?
You pick the numbers.
Run your test. You pick your numbers for your test. I love using 0 because it just simplifies things so much. 2 and 6. I like working with even numbers, so more than likely you'll see me using even numbers when possible. The first thing, so we have a test of 0, we have to test a 2, and we have to test 6. So if we get 0 and we plug it in, 0, 0, this is 0, 0, 0, this is 0, that leaves me with a positive 4. Is 4 greater than 0?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, so whenever you're in the test, we have to go back to the original one?
Go back to the original. I like using the one that's already set to 0. You might get one that's not set to 0. It's up to you if you want to use it. It may be easier, it may be harder, but whatever you feel comfortable with. But always go back to the original. The next one is 2. 2 times 2 is? 4. 2 times negative 5?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. Plus 4 equals?
Negative 2.
4 and 4 is 8 equals negative 2. Negative 2, is that greater than 0?
No.
No. No. Put 1 clear X. The next one is 6. 6 times 6? 36. 6 times 5?
Negative 30.
30. Plus 4. 36 minus 30 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. Is 10 greater than 0? Yes. Yes. So we have 2 yeses. Now we have 2 answers. We know we're working with parentheses, so write down your first answer, negative infinity to 1. When you add the second answer, you must do union, which is a U. Then you're going to put the second set, which is 4, infinity. That is your answer. Keep in mind that the following is the exact same answer. Negative infinity to 1, or 4 to infinity. They are both the same answer. However you write it is correct. You will not get points knocked off. I use the union, and your assignment uses or every now and then just to confirm that you do understand that it's the same. Any questions? C. For C, we're going to cover x plus 3 squared, x plus 6 is less than 0. We have up to j. It's all the exact same thing. I just need to make sure you know how to convert any equation and get the answer. So we're just going to keep practicing to make sure that you all understand how we're doing this. So what's the first thing I need to get rid of?
The square.
And to get rid of the square, I write it twice. X plus 3, x plus 3, and then x plus 6 is less than 0. This is really easy because all I got to do now is set to 0. X plus 3 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, x plus 6 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals negative 3, x equals negative 3, x equals negative 6. When you have answers that are both doubled, you don't need to do both because it's the exact same thing. You're going to do twice the work and you don't have to. So you can pick one and just not do it because it's already there. That leaves me with a negative 3 and a negative 6. Draw your line. The smallest number is -6. The larger number is -3. Plot your points. We're going to have a negative infinity, comma, -6, parentheses. Then we have -6 to -3, parentheses. Then we have a -3 to infinity, parentheses. And it's a parentheses because we don't have equal to. We're good? What is the next step?
Test.
Test. We need to run a test. You want to pick the easiest number, so we're going to go with -7, -4, and 0. Label your test, -7, -4, 0. We're going to start off, now I don't want to worry about the square, so I'm not going to use the original. I'm going to use what we converted it to. It's still an original because it's still set to 0. So -7. -7 plus 3, -4, correct? Parentheses. -7 plus 3, -4, parentheses. -7 plus 6, -1, correct? Yes? Okay, so -4 times -4,
-16.
-16. -16 times -1,
Positive.
so it's 16. Is 16 less than 0?
No, it's -16, sir.
Negative, positive. Is -16 0?
Yes.
Right? It's less than 0? Yes. -4. -4 plus 3,
-1.
-1. -4 plus 3, -1. -4 plus 6,
2.
negative,
Positive.
Positive.
So negative times a negative
Positive.
is a positive. Positive times a positive, it's a positive. So it's positive 2, correct?
Yes.
Is 2 less than 0?
No.
No.
No. The next one we have is 0. So we're going to have 3, 6. 3 times 3 is?
9.
9.
9 times 6
54.
is 54
No.
less than 0.
No.
Nope.
So here we have one answer, correct? Our answer is -infinity, comma, -6.
We only did that. We only did that because like the other two letter knows, right?
Correct. We have a no here and a no. We only have one yes. Test 7. Here's our point. We're good?
Yes.
We're going to go to D. For D, we are given x squared plus 9x is less than or equal to 0. Now here, we can do a factor because they both have a common entity. So we're going to do factor on x. That leaves us with x plus 9, less than or equal to 0. Here, set x to 0, x equals 0. Here, set x plus 9 equals to 0, x equals 0, x equals -9. Any questions? Draw your number line. 0 is the greater number, so 0 goes on the right. -9 is the less number, so it goes on the left. Set your points. You have -infinity, comma, 9. Then you have a bracket because you have an equal to. Bracket -9 to 0, bracket. And then bracket 0 to infinity, parenthesis. Run our test. We're going to run with a -10, a -2, and a 2.
Wouldn't one be easier?
I chose, which one, 1?
Mm-hmm.
Negative 1? You
Negative
can,
one.
but I like even numbers, so I chose 2. You can choose any number. Remember, you can choose any number that's in between, but not listed. So here I can't choose a 0, unfortunately. So my test is negative 10, negative 2, and 2. So 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Negative 10 times 9 is 90. Negative 90. That gives me an answer of a positive 10. Is positive 10 less than or equal to 0? No. No. So, negative 2. Negative 2 times 2? 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Plus, negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Negative 18 plus 4
Negative 14.
is negative 14 less than or equal to 0? Yes. 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. Is 22 less than or equal to 0? No. So what is my answer?
Bracket depth.
Don't forget to box. E, we are given x squared plus x greater than 6. What's wrong?
Not set to 0.
It's not set to 0. What do I need to do?
Subtract 6.
Move the 6 over. X squared plus x minus 6 is greater than 0. We're good here. Now I do my table. I know that negative 6 goes on the left. Positive 1 goes on the right. My multiples for negative 6 would be 1 and 6, 2 and 3. In order for me to get a 1 from 2 and 3, 3 needs to be positive and 2 needs to be a negative. That gives me a positive 1. Positive 1, negative 2, positive 3. Great. So then we have to rewrite this. X squared, minus x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6 is greater than 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what can we do? Group. What can I factor out of the first one?
X.
Leaving me.
X minus 2.
And then over here I do know I need to have an x minus 2. In order to get an x minus 2 I need to factor out a 3. Will the 3 be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. Put them together, I get x plus 3. X minus 2 is greater than 0. Set to 0. X plus 3 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. Once you get to this point, you need to solve for x. When you solve for x, you get x equals negative 3. X equals 2. What's the next thing I need to do?
Time.
Number line. My smallest number is?
Negative 3.
And my largest number is?
2.
2. Find your points. Remember, we're not working with an equal than, so we're working with just greater than. It's negative infinity to negative 3, both parentheses. Negative 3 to 2, parenthesis, 2 to infinity, parenthesis. After we've listed our points, what's the next thing? Run your test. And I am repeating myself because eventually it'll sink in. Thank you for humoring me. So the test numbers are going to be negative 4, 0, 4. So we have to go back to the original. Remember, I'm going to do the second original because it's already set to 0 and I don't want to worry about this 6. So, negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is?
16.
16. Plus negative 4, so it's negative 4. Minus 6 is greater than 0. Negative 6 and negative 4 is? Negative 10. Negative 10 plus 16 is? 6. Negative 4, 0, 4. Is 6 greater than 0?
Yes.
Yes. The next one is a 0. 0, 0. That leaves us with negative 6. Negative 6 is greater than 0. Is negative 6 greater than 0? And then the last one is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 minus 6. 6 and 4 becomes a negative 2. Negative 2 and 16 becomes a negative 14. Negative 14 is greater than 0. Is negative 14 greater than 0?
Yeah. Oh wait, negative. My bad.
Is it negative or positive?
I thought it was positive.
6 and 4 is negative 2. Negative, yeah, it's a positive.
Yeah.
So yes. So we have two answers. To write the two answers, it's parenthesis, negative infinity, comma, negative 3. Parenthesis, don't forget the union. 2, infinity, parenthesis, box your answer. Okay, now let's do F. The equation it gives us is x to the third plus 2x squared minus x minus 2 greater than or equal to 0.
Wait, is this it?
This is F.
Yeah, but like,
Are we gonna
is
do
only like, is only like one thing to learn? And this is it?
There's one thing to learn, and that's A through J. That's the same thing that we're learning. I'm just showing you different ways to solve.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna enjoy this now.
There are fractions involved eventually, and there are decimals, which is why I need to make sure you understand. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the first thing I can do? Group.
Oh wait, never mind.
What can I factor out of the first?
X
Squared.
squared.
And that leaves me with x plus 2. I know I'm going to need an x plus 2. What can I factor out to give me an x plus 2?
Negative 1.
A negative 1. Put them together, that gives me x squared minus 1, x plus 2. Am I done?
No.
Why?
You need to go away to square.
And what can I do here? Does anybody remember?
It's a square.
Difference of squares, all right. X plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 2. Set to 0, x plus 1 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals negative 1, x equals 1, x equals negative 2. We've got our x's solved. Draw your number line.
There's 3.
Our smallest number is negative 2, so that goes on the left. We have 3, so the middle one's going to be the next, which is negative 1. And the largest number is 1. Make sure you solve your points.
Does that mean that there's gonna be like more parentheses now up top?
More, yeah.
One extra one.
But keep in mind,
Brackets.
we're working with brackets. So negative infinity, comma, negative 2, bracket, parenthesis. Then negative 2, 1, bracket. Bracket negative 1 to 1, bracket. And then bracket 1 to infinity, parenthesis. We have to run our test. Our test is going to be negative 3 for this quadrant. For the next one, we're going to do negative 1.5. Yeah, I know.
Ouch.
We'll survive. 0 and 2.
Wait, why are we doing an odd number? With the negative 3.
Because it's right there.
It's just easier.
It's just easier. It's already done. So we're testing negative 3, negative 1.5, 0, and 2. These are the tests. We're going to start with negative 3. When you put negative 3 into it, negative 3, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. It comes out to negative 27. And then we're going to use 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. It's a positive 18. Plus negative times a negative is positive 3.
Or minus 2.
Minus 2. That comes out to negative 8? Is negative 8 greater than or equal to 0?
No.
Now we're going to do the 1.5. 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5 comes out to 3.375. Keep in mind when you multiply a negative times a negative, it's a positive, times a negative, it's a negative. So we get negative 3.375. And then we're going to multiply 1.5 times 1.5 times 2. Gives us a positive 4.5. Plus, because there's a negative right here, 1.5 minus 2 gives us the answer of 0.625. That is positive. Is that greater than or equal to 0?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. 0.
Luckily, 0 is easy.
0 is easy. 0,
Negative
0, 0. Negative 2. Is
No.
negative 2 greater than 0?
No.
Do you see why I like using 0?
Yes. You just cross out all the
You
X's.
just cross out all the X's. The last one is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8.
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Negative 4, actually.
Negative 2. Greater than 0. My answer comes out to 12. Is 12 greater than or equal to 0?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So how many answers do I have?
2.
I have 2 answers. Bracket negative 2, comma, negative 1, bracket. What do I need to put next to it? Union. Bracket 1, infinity. Bracket. Please make sure to box your answers.
Wait, why you bracket?
Bracket, sir. Bracket.
All that work.
So you only use the union
Do all that
when
work,
you're
sir.
when you're working with brackets?
No, you can use union. Union, you use it for a bracket or a parentheses.
When there's more than one.
When there's more than one. If there's only one, then no. G. They give us x to the fourth minus 45x squared minus 196 greater than 0. What do I need to do? Does this look familiar?
Yes.
What do I need to draw? What number goes here?
196?
It's
Negative
negative 196. And what number goes here?
Negative 45.
Negative 45. Perfect. What are my multiples of 196? Well, I have 1 and 196. I have 2 and 98. And I have 4 and 49.
The 4 and 49.
The 4 and 49 will give me a 45. But to get a negative 45, 49 needs to be negative and the 4 needs to be positive. You see that?
Yes.
I need to rewrite it to show x to the fourth plus 4x squared minus 49x squared minus 196. 1, 2, 3, 4. What can I do?
Group it.
Group. Don't forget your plus so you don't make a mistake. What can I factor out of the first section?
X squared.
Leaving me
X
x squared plus 4 close parenthesis. What can I factor out of the second group?
Negative 49.
No.
49. Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
X squared.
Yeah. Negative 49.
Yeah.
Hold on. X squared. Yeah, negative 49. So I'm going to factor out a negative 49. That leaves me with x squared minus 49.
Wait.
No,
Well,
no,
minus
no.
4.
It's
Minus 4.
Plus 4.
Plus 4. Sorry. Plus 4. Plus 4. Yes, perfect. There we go. There I see it. Combine x squared minus 49.
Then you can do
X
something
squared
else.
plus 4.
Then you can factor out the X squared.
Hold on. X squared plus 4. X squared plus 4. X squared minus 49. Yes. Okay, what can I do with my x squared minus 49?
Difference of squares.
Which gives me
X plus.
and what about with the rest?
Yeah,
Correct? Now what do I do?
set to 0.
Set to 0. X plus 7 equals 0. X minus 7 equals 0. X squared plus 4 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals negative 7. X equals 7. X equals 2. I. Because if we move it over, it's going to turn into x squared equals negative 4, correct? Because we move it over.
Yeah.
We get the square root. It's going to give me x equals 2i.
So where does the I go in
The I, what you do with the I is you put it in a box, and you put an X on it.
Oh. So just
So
screw
you
the I
know,
basically.
right? Sweet.
So the I is just not.
Yeah, we don't worry about the I's when we're doing this.
I'm sorry. Does it matter that it skips exponent at the top?
Where's we're gonna skip it.
Which one?
I went
This
from
one?
X squared. No, I went from x squared x to the fourth.
Here, come show me, because maybe I don't see it.
X to the fourth and then
I'm
X
imaginary.
to the square.
Yeah, like you don't have to have x to the third.
Oh, like at the very beginning, the top.
Very
The original.
The original.
Here, come here.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Did you fight the sword?
Okay, so now we have our negative 7 or 7 and our 2i. Remember the 2i doesn't count, so we just cross it out. We're left with two numbers. We do our number line. Our smallest number is negative 7. Our largest number is 7. We do our parentheses. Negative infinity. Yep, parentheses because there's no bracket. Comma negative 7. Negative 7 to 7. And then 7 to infinity. We run our test. Negative 8, 0, and 8. We're testing negative 8, 0, and 8.
Can you sign this real quick?
Hi, she can sign it. Go on that way, go on. Or just come over. Okay.
And they'll just photobomb us.
And now just photobomb this. Okay, so when we get the negative 8, negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8
Well,
comes
causes
out to
something.
positive 4,096.
Ah.
What in the world?
4,096 minus, okay, negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 45 comes out to 2,880 minus 96.
Oh.
Then
190.
Your answer ends up being 987. Is 987 greater than 0? Good. 0. 0, 0. 0 tells us that negative 196 is negative 196 greater than 0.
No.
No.
But does zero never win?
Well, 0 can win. Just it's not winning here. 8. Remember the numbers? 4,000, this, it's all the same. My answer comes out to 987. Is 987 greater than 0? Yes. So I have two answers. So you list your two answers. My first answer is negative infinity, comma, negative 7, parenthesis. What goes after my first answer?
Union.
The union. Or, because sometimes it's or.
No, yeah.
7
Don't care about or.
infinity, yeah, we don't care about or. And make sure you box your answer. Look, I made it fit on one sheet of paper. How bad is that? That's awesome.
Nice.
It's impressive.
Now I think we can go grab a calculator real quick.
3 more, guys. We can do this.
No, I refuse.
This
saves time.
Okay, we're going to start with H. X minus 4.
You're all welcome.
You ready for this? Well excited?
No.
Over
Wow.
X plus 3.
No.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to the back.
Is greater than 0. Guys, I promise it's real easy. Watch. All you're going to do is you're going to get X minus 4. X minus 4 is equal 0.
Oh.
X plus 3, X plus 3 equals 0. Did you see how simple that was? Solve for X. X equals 4, X equals negative 3. Look, I have my X's. What do I have to do now?
Line.
My number
One.
line.
Oh, well that's pretty easy.
My smallest number is a negative 3. My largest number is a 4. Set your points. I'm not working with an equal to, so it's going to be negative infinity, comma, negative 3 to 4, 4 to infinity. Now I need to run a test. My test is going to be negative 4, 0, 5. I'm going to go back to my original equation.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Negative 4, 0, 5. Yeah, 5. I'm going to go back to my original equation and substitute. Negative 4 and negative 4 is? Negative 4 and negative 4 is?
Negative 16. Or 16.
No, we're subtracting. So it's
Oh.
negative 8. Negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1. What happens when I have a negative 8 over a negative 1?
It becomes positive.
It turns into what?
8.
Positive.
8. Is 8 greater than 0?
Gosh.
Yes.
Please, let's
0.
win this time.
0, 0. Okay, so we have negative 4 over 3. Negative 4 over 3. Negative 4 over 3. Is that greater than 0?
No.
Negative 4 over 3 is greater than 0. No, no, no. Okay, now 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. 5 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 8. 1/8. Is 1/8 greater than 0?
Yes.
Yes. So what is my answer?
Negative infinity, negative 3, union 4, infinity. That one was okay. That one was okay.
That one.
All right, for I.
2 more to go.
I and J.
I. We have parenthesis x plus 4 parenthesis x minus 1 parenthesis all over x plus 2 parentheses squared less than or equal to 0. I need to rewrite this to make this workable. To do so, I'm going to split these two. So it's x plus 4, x minus 1, all over x plus 2, x plus 2. We're good? We know this is less than or equal to 0. We're going to do the same thing we did in h, which is going to be x plus 4 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. Solve for x. We get x equals negative 4, x equals 1, and x equals negative 2. I'm only going to do it once because these two are the same answer. Correct? Do your number line. Our smallest number is negative 4. Our second smallest number is negative 2. And our largest number is 1. Set your points. We're working with an equal than, so it's going to be negative infinity, comma, negative 4, bracket. Don't forget infinity has a parenthesis. Bracket negative 4, bracket negative 2, bracket negative 2, bracket 1, infinity, parenthesis. We're good? Run your test. My test numbers are going to be negative 5, negative 3, 0, and 3. Negative 5, negative 3, 0, and 3. We go back to the second original, because this is just so much easier. Negative 5. So negative 5 and 4 Negative 5 and 1 gives me a negative 1 and a negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 6 is
Six.
positive 6. And then a negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9. 6 over 9 comes out to 2/3. Is 2 over 3 is 2 over 3 less than or equal to 0?
No.
No, it's not. So we cross out that one. Our next test is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 4 and a negative 3 plus 1 gives me a 1 and a negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is?
2. Negative 2.
Negative 2. So I get a negative 2 over, and that's a negative 3, and a 2 is a 1, a negative 3 and a 2 is a 1. That's a negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. Is a positive 1, so it comes out to negative 2. Is negative 2 less than or equal to 0?
Yes.
Yes. 0. 0, 0, 0, 0. Positive 4 times negative 1? Negative 4. 0. 0, 0, 2, 2. 2 times 2 is? 4. 4 over 4 is? Negative 1. Is negative 1 greater than or less than 0? I'm sorry, less than or equal to 0?
Yes.
See? There. You're 0, 1.
Finally. It only took 9 different tries.
It only took 9 different tries, but it worked. 3. When we try 3 and we plug in 3, 3 plus 4, and then 3 plus 1, and then 3 plus 2, and then 3 plus 2, that gives us 3. It's a positive 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 3 minus 1 is 3 plus 4 is 7. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 7 times 2 is 14. 14. And then we have 3. 3 plus 2 is 3, 4, 5 is 5. 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So is 14 over 25 less than or equal to 0?
9.
No. No. So how many answers do we have?
2.
2. So my answers are bracket negative 4 minus 2 bracket. And what I put in? Union. Bracket negative 2, 1 bracket. There's my answer.
This makes me want to kill myself.
J. Last example. J. We have 2x over x plus 4 is less than x.
Wait.
What?
What?
Why, sir?
Because Miss Peña says I had to teach it to you.
Why, Miss Peña?
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, copy this down step by step. You will not make a mistake on your assignment, I promise. If you skip, I'm going to go slow. If
that
you
long?
skip a step, you will make a mistake. So this is our equation, so that we don't get confused. You don't have to do this, but so that you can see where we're at. I'm going to put this in a box so you know this is my original.
Oh no.
This is going to turn into, we need to put x on this side.
Let me do this.
So to put x on this side, it's going to look like 2x over x plus 4 minus x 0.
Oh, okay.
Now, this isn't going to change, and so that I don't have to keep adding it and confusing you guys, I'm just going to omit this for now, and this will come back at the end of the equation, I promise. But for now, I'm not going to keep writing this because it's just going to confuse you. So I have 2x over x plus 4 minus x. I can't do anything until I combine like terms. They don't have like terms. They don't have the same denominator, which means I need to turn this into a fraction. So, And in case you're wondering, in case those of you that don't know, this little equal sign with the arrow means from here I go here. So that you know, hey, this is together, this is together, this is together. So from here it turns into 2x over x plus 4 minus x over 1. Remember how to put it under 1 to turn it into a fraction, right? I'm not putting this anymore until the very end so I don't confuse you. Then this,
Wait, minus x over 1?
because I need to put it into a fraction.
Thank you.
Yes. It's the wrong fraction, so it's going to turn into something else. So we're here, right? I need you all with me. And I'm going to copy this step by step so that I don't make a mistake either. So this turns into 2x over x plus 4. Remember that in order to get the common denominator, I need to multiply this by this and also x by this. So this is going to turn into minus x because there's the x, right? I've already got the x, parenthesis, x plus 4. See, that's where I'm getting it from. I want you to see where I'm getting it from. Over, there's a 1. There really is 1. X plus 4. We know the 1's going to disappear because it's a 1 and we know how 1 works. This is going to turn into 2x over x plus 4 minus x squared minus 4x over x plus 4. This came to be because I multiplied x times x, x squared. Do you see that? X times 4, 4x. Do you see that?
Yes.
Don't forget the negative. Negative x times a positive 4 is a negative 4x. We're good? Now these both have the same denominator, right? So I can combine them. It's going to turn into 2x minus x squared minus 4x all over x plus 4. We're good? So then this, we need to combine like terms. The top has like terms that we can combine. Here we're going to end up with negative x squared because x squared should go first. 2x minus 4x gives us negative 2x. Does everybody see how that happened?
Yes.
All over x plus 4. We're good? One more transformation. From here, we can factor out
X squared or x.
an x, which means
Negative x.
better. Negative x, parenthesis, x plus 2 over x plus 4.
Now we've got
This is the last transformation. Since it's the last transformation, I'm going to bring this guy back. 0. So we know where we're at, right? We're here. Now we can set everything to 0. We're going to work with the first one. Negative x equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals negative 2. X equals negative 4. We can't have a negative x. We're going to solve for the negative x. To solve for negative x, we have to divide by negative 1. When you divide by negative 1, it turns into x equals negative 0. Negative 0 isn't real, but it still technically counts, so it becomes x equals 0. It's the same thing. X equals 0. We're good?
Yep.
We have solved x, x, x. All our x's are solved. What does that mean? Number line. Our smallest number is a negative 4. Our second smallest is a negative 2. And our largest is a 0. Set your points. Remember, we're working with the less than, so there's no equal to. Negative infinity, comma, negative 4, parentheses. Parentheses, negative 4, negative 2, parentheses. Parentheses, negative 2, 0, parentheses. And 0, infinity, parentheses. We're all together? Now we need to run a test. Our test is going to consist, what numbers did I use? Our test is going to consist of -5, -3, -1, and 1. We run our test first for the -5. That's too close. Sorry, -5, -3, -1, and 1. We go back to the original because it's just so complicated. So -5. We run, if we put a -5 in x, that's 2 times -5. -5 over 4, -5 plus 4 is less than 5. It ends up saying, it comes out to 10. Is 10 less than -5?
No.
No. -3. And I'll work one with you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about. I don't want you not to understand. So here we have 2, -3 over -3 plus 4, -3. I'm just pulling it from here. -3 and 2 is -6 over 3 and 4 is 1. 1? 1? Yes, positive 1. And -3. So this becomes -6. Is -6, I keep putting that, is -6 less than -3?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, so this is -6 is less than -3. That's a yes, that's a yes. Then we do the -1. When we put the -1, it's 2 and -1, -1 and positive 4, -1. Once we calculate it, it gives us -2 over 3 less than -1. Is -2 over 3 less than -1?
Yes.
No. No.
Oh yeah.
No. So we cross it out. Then we do 1. 1 is real easy because it just all disappears and it becomes 2 over 4 over 3 and then of course square root. So 1
over 5.
2, yes, 2 over 5. 2 over 5 is 2 over 5 less than 1.
Yes.
Yes. So I have 2 answers. My first answer is -4, comma, -2. Union, 0, and infinity.
We're done.
And we're done.
Yeah.
We